Grenita Lathan, Interim Superintendent of HISD, and welcome to the Superintendent Spotlight. This has been an unprecedented year. We have all been forced to think outside of the box and remain flexible and innovative in order to meet the needs of all HISD children. And we have all had to take the necessary precautions in order to remain healthy. Like we always do in HISD, we have met this challenge with strength, determination, and resilience. Although we're distanced, we are still close to each other thanks to technology. And as you can see, I have my computer to communicate with our guests today. Face-to-face instruction begins on October 19th, and HISD has been preparing to have the safest and most impactful education in our classrooms for all the students who have chosen in-person instruction. While face-to-face instruction is resuming, we believe in the importance of providing parents with the ability to choose what is best for their children. So students will have the option to continue participating in their classes virtually. Today we have our Interim Chief Academic Officer, Yolanda Rodriguez, and Booker T. Washington's Principal, and also the Principal of the Year for HISD, Dr. Carlos Phillips, to tell us how the district has prepared for face-to-face instruction. So Dr. Phillips, when your students return on Monday, October 19th for face-to-face instruction, what will that look like for them?
Dr. Lathan, when our students return back for face-to-face instruction on Monday, it's going to look like a welcome home celebration. We want our students to be excited to be in a place for learning. We want our teachers to receive our students with open arms with the proper social distancing. But we're going to make sure that our students know that they've been missed, and we want them to be here with us in a safe learning environment. All of our students will be appropriately spaced out as they get ready to enter the building. They will have their temperatures checked, their mask on. If masks are not available for them, if they do not have their own mask, we'll have masks available for them. Once they enter the building, we have a lot of signage available that shows the expectations for social distancing. The proper seating arrangements have been set for the areas for our students to sit in, and different spacing options are available on where our students can sit as we begin our instructional day. The entire day will be made of a safe, calm environment where students know that we are taking the appropriate measures to ensure that safety is the top priority. Our teachers will be confident in being able to give high levels of instruction, both virtually and face-to-face, and our students will be able to go home to tell their friends, like, this is a good place to be in. Our principal cares, our teachers are prepared, and we will be able to be successful and healthy throughout this school year. So letting our students know when they come into a great environment where they're cared for, where it will be safe, will be the top priority for our first day of instruction once our students return.
Thank you. So one other question as it relates to, our teachers returned this past Monday, October 12th. And so what has this week been like for you, being back in the building with your teachers? Last time you saw all of your staff, it was in March.
We missed our teachers a lot. When I first came back to the campus, the first thing I looked at was all the cars that were in the parking lot. To see so many cars in the parking lot, when we're used to seeing just an empty parking lot, shows that life is happening once again, and we're going to pick up where we left off, and we're going to take greater steps. We've been taking very safe steps with our teachers as they re-enter the building by not moving too fast, making sure that they all are comfortable, getting consistent feedback from them on things they have observed or things that we may want to bring to our attention. We want everyone to know that we're working this together, that when they feel safe, they can work effectively. If we have good ideas that we can bring to the table, we're going to collaborate on what are the best practices to make sure that we could do our best to stop the spread of the virus, but most importantly, not impact anyone here on our campus. So just taking the advice from my teachers by letting them know they are part of the work with us, making sure they understand that the things that they share with us, the ideas they have, we can consider those things because we want them to do their best every single day while they're here, because our best secret that we have at the homes are coming into our building on Monday morning, and we want everyone to be prepared for high levels of instruction in a safe environment.
Thank you. And Chief Rodriguez, you spent the past 6 to 7 months developing an instructional continuity plan, and you and I both have received a number of emails and phone calls from parents saying, if I send my child back to school for face-to-face, will they have the same teacher? Or if they stay virtual, can they have the same teacher? Just talk about that process and what it will look like for students on Monday and the schedule for face-to-face instruction.
Sure. So good morning to everyone. So yes, that has been the top number one question of the top 10, and campuses, really, our principals are doing such a phenomenal job to make sure that if there is an opportunity for your student to have the same teacher, both face-to-face and virtual, then they're making those attempts to do that. We know that students have connected with their teachers through the virtual environment, and we know the importance of that teacher-student relationship. So those relationships, as much as possible, will be maintained. There will be, however, some instances where your child may have a new teacher, and that's okay. Things actually happen like that, whether we're in a pandemic or not, where there are some schedule changes that do occur. But our teachers are prepared to do that. They're prepared to receive new students if they need to, and start building those relationships as quickly as they did when we began instruction in September. And it's been a process. Every school is going to look different because in HISD we do have and are committed to having that customized service between our families and our campuses and our principals and our teachers. And so it's really is a wonderful thing to see how much that has driven the decision on assignments as we move into face-to-face instruction on Monday. And it's really been a process. We did not apply a one-size-fits-all. And so because we really want to honor those relationships that our schools have with their communities and their families.
Thank you. So both of you are parents, and also Chief Rodriguez, you are a grandmother that also has children in the district. What's the one thing, as speaking from a parent, so you're going to speak parent to parent, what's one thing you would like to share with our parents as they prepare to send their students back to us on Monday?
Dr. Lathan, with us and my household, we have strong conversations with our children about life in general and the ability to be able to take on challenges as they face challenges. So having real conversations with our children are very important to us. And then we also ensure that the choices that we make or the decisions that we make are in the best interest of our children. So I want to encourage all parents to really talk directly with their children to let them know that when we make these decisions, we do have the best interests of children at heart in a district like HISD, and to make sure that the students understand that an open communication with your teachers, with your principal, or any campus stakeholders is very important when a child may feel uncertain about certain things that they may be going through. So just to let parents know that we are in a safe environment, to have strong conversations with your child, to support your child on how they may be feeling, and to reach out to the schools if they have any concerns would be the best advice that I would give to all parents coming in, because we are believing in our school district. We believe in the leadership and the things that have been put in place to make sure that all our kids are safe, so our students can feel confident when they come in to learn, and they appreciate learning with their peers and their colleagues, as they go throughout the rest of the school year.
Thank you. And Chief Rodriguez.
So definitely agree with Dr. Phillips' advice to parents, and I'll elaborate a little bit more on that. But that's what I share with my children who are now parents of HISD, and then directly with my grandchildren is ask questions. Take advantage of the office hours that teachers have on their schedule to email teachers to ask for specific questions. If you're having any challenges or difficulties with submitting assignments or really understanding how their child's engagement has been or has not been, ask questions. Teachers do have that dedicated time, even coming back face to face, to be able to respond to you parents on a one-on-one basis regarding your specific questions with your children, and then ask how you can help at home and what type of activities would support their child's learning. One of the things, parents, that's a little different, well, I guess it's all different, but one of the things that we will be monitoring pretty closely, of course, is all students' progress. So as a parent, ask about your students' progress. All the students in HISD will complete this week is the end of the window of our first screening in reading and math. And so connect with your teachers, your child's teachers, in my case, grandchild's teachers, and ask, well, how did my child do on the screening in reading? Are there specific skills that I need to be aware of so that I can also help support my child or my grandchild in their learning process?
Thank you. So, Principal Phillips, as this conversation comes to a close, I'd like to offer you an opportunity for to share some closing comments with us.
Well, Dr. Lathan, first off, I want to say thank you for allowing me to be on the platform with you and Ms. Rodriguez and to speak on behalf of not only principals, but parents and then educators. I really hope that through this pandemic that the awareness of the value of education is seen over the world. There's nothing like a real teacher, a genuine teacher where they care about students, they care about their learning, and they want to make sure that we can hold the true value of improving our society and the world we live in on a day-to-day basis by educating these young minds. So as we get prepared for our face-to-face instruction, as we get prepared to continue the school year, I just really hope that the world sees that educators are the game changers, that we're in this thing to make sure that we can make a difference, that our students will know that it's nothing like a teacher, there's nothing wrong with being a teacher, and I wish I could be a teacher because we have so much impact on the world, and I think the world has seen that. So I would just like to say that I'm confident in the direction in which we're going. Accidents may happen, things that we're unaware of may happen again, but at the end of the day, we're educators, we're thinkers, we're critical thinkers that can make decisions, and we can collaborate together in order to do what's best for students. So I'm prepared. I know that my colleagues are prepared, and we're going to do our best to make sure that we continue to give our students the best education that they can receive when they come through our doors, because we have a loving environment, a caring attitude, and we're committed to their success. So thank you again for allowing me to be here, and I look forward to seeing our students, and I look forward to an outstanding school year, and I'm proud to represent the Houston Independent School District as an educator, and I'm going to do my best every single day as I continue to move forward.
Thank you. So thank you again, Chief Rodriguez, HISD's Secondary Principal of the Year, Dr. Carlos Phillips. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you, Dr. Lathan.
Thank you, Dr. Lathan.
Students and parents have prepared for October 19th, and their nutrition is essential. That is why our Nutrition Services Department has been a key to the healthy development of our scholars. Joining us today to discuss the nutritional support we will provide our students during the remainder of the school year is the Officer of Nutrition Services, Ms. Betty Wiggins, and Red Elementary School Principal Trevino. Welcome to the Superintendent Spotlight, Ms. Wiggins and Principal Trevino. Ms. Wiggins.
Yes, ma'am.
Parents to know if their students are going to receive healthy meals on October 19th. Healthy meals if they're in a virtual environment, and healthy meals if they're face-to-face. Can you just share with our parents to plan?
On October 19th, we're going to open up 280 schools, and there's going to be healthy meals available in those schools. That's called our brick and mortar situation, where kids will receive breakfast and lunch. On their way out the door, they're going to have snack and a supper meal to take home with them. In our virtual learning, for those kids who have chosen virtual learning and for their parents, is another way of providing parental support. There's curbside pickup. The kid that's not the child, our scholars, don't have to leave their virtual learning classroom to come pick up their meals. Their parents can. As well as we also doing something I think is very unique to Houston for our virtual learning kids who are living in apartment buildings and in complexes with multi-households. We go to those complexes. So we have about 15 apartment complexes and housing authority units that we're providing meals. We're doing everything that we can do to support our parents. And then like last night, at Coward Stadium in Barnett, we had a family and food distribution. Because again, that's our whole way, as you and I talked about on the 14th of March. If we're not feeding these families, we're not doing anything for the children. So I'm very proud to say that all the things that we try to do here, the things that we try to do, that we do, using your guiding words of flexibility, is to ensure that we're feeding as many children as we can, whether it be brick and mortar or virtual learners. And my shirt, you can't see it all, I want to try to show you, is that we're very proud of the programs that we had to support our virtual learners.
Thank you, Ms. Betty, and I want to take this time to commend you and your staff. You know, one of the toughest decisions a superintendent has to make is to decide whether or not to keep schools open or to close schools. We had a major task when we started discussing closing schools that week of March the 14th, as you stated. Our biggest concern was how are we going to feed our children? How are we going to feed not only our children, but their families in the middle of a pandemic? And you and your team, you all have done a phenomenal job of feeding our community, not just the 209,000 students in HISD, but we fed their families. And I want to commend you for your leadership. And speaking of leadership and families, as I stated earlier, we have Principal Trevino here from Red Elementary School. So Principal Trevino, you are preparing for two learning platforms or two learning environments, face-to-face instruction to begin on Monday, October 19th, and also continuing, some of your students continuing in a virtual format. We know that our students will arrive on Monday hungry and ready to be fed, but we know we must follow COVID-19 precautions. So can you just share the precautions that are in place as it relates to feeding students on Monday, October 19th?
Sure, Dr. Latham. Our students, as they arrive to Red Elementary School, they will be guided by people monitoring the hallways. They will go straight to their classrooms while their teachers will be there waiting for them and welcome them into the classrooms. Our food service department from the cafeteria, they will deliver breakfast to the classroom and as well as lunch. Lunch will be delivered into the classroom, and they will be receiving some 2 8-ounce bottles of water to make sure that the kids are maintaining their water and they're drinking their water. So yes, definitely that is our plan for Red. The kids will come in, go straight to the classroom, receive breakfast in the classroom as well as their lunch.
Thank you, Principal Trevino. I know one concern has been shared with me this week as it relates to even students eating breakfast in the classroom and lunch. And we know that information is found in our communicable disease plan. Our committee actually discussed the procedures. But let's just talk about the safety. I know everything, Miss Betty, is prepackaged, but I also know when students start to eat, and all of us know from just eating. So how are we guiding our teachers to be prepared that when students are eating in the classroom to ensure that teachers are safe and that students are safe? I know that we've talked about students needing to face in one direction, no interaction. Can you just talk about that just a little bit more, Principal Trevino and Miss Betty, as it relates to how you communicated that to your team also when they're out delivering breakfast and lunch?
Sure, I'll start off. Our wellness team here with our nurse, part of our chairperson of our wellness team, we've met with several teachers and we met with every grade level teacher. We provide them guidance in regards to separate students as much as possible within the classroom and giving the flexibility to the students if they want to sit further away from everyone else. But definitely our teachers are ready. They are monitoring our students. They will separate them as much as possible within the classroom. We're also going to provide them access to our outside tables for them to sit outside if they want to enjoy their lunch in the outside and enjoy the fresh air.
Wonderful, thank you. And Ms. Wiggins?
Yes. Well, one of the things that you have to understand, the guiding principle in food service has always been food safety. And ensuring that we're handling and serving safe foods. When those breakfast carts arrive at those classrooms in the morning, my employees will have the proper PPE. That will be masks and gloves. The kids will come to the cart. We'll disperse the meal to the cart. The kids will return to their desks. Then we'll go to the next classroom and do the same. So it's almost like this a self-contained unit. This, I have to let parents know as well, this is not brand new. We have been doing breakfast in the classroom for 9, 10 years maybe, and this has been the system that we've been using. So this is not brand new. The added component is lunch. Now, as Principal Trevino said, when we go outside, that gives us a whole different world to deal with, but we still use our PPE, and we maintain that social distance requirement. But that gives our kids an opportunity to enjoy a meal out in the fresh air. But all our meals are pre-wrapped. Even we're working with some aspects of maintaining the temperature. So on some days we can vary the menu and give them hot food. But again, keeping food safe and handling food safely has always been a hallmark of child nutrition.
Thank you. So as our conversation comes to a close, there's two questions I would like to ask, or actually, Ms. Betty, yours is going to be kind of a question/statement, and then also Principal Trevino. So Ms. Betty, there are two audiences that I would like for you to speak to at this time. Number one, I'd like you to speak to our parents as it relates to us providing meals at no cost to our students. And just talk about as we move forward. So that's your first audience. Your second audience that I would like for you to share a comment or a statement to is those people who are elected officials that will make decisions as it relates to food nutrition services at the state and federal level. Please share any comments that you'd like to share with them as we think about feeding 209,000 students and also their families. Ms. Betty.
First, I have to say, Dr. Latham, it's an honor that parents trust us to do one of the most important tasks of the day, to feed a child. It's an honor. And we've taken all the steps necessary to keep gaining their confidence and maintaining their confidence. We will feed your children with Harvey. I think for you and I, everything has been around an event, a tragic event. Harvey, how are we going to feed kids? Okay, we settled down, and here comes the pandemic. And then with Harvey is when we decided to apply to the government in order to support our families. We feed meals at no charge. I don't know how many people know that at HISD for the last 4 years, since Harvey, we have not charged one parent for one meal, be it breakfast, lunch, snack, or supper. So we're very proud of that. And as it stands right now, for the next 4 years, that is going to be the situation here in HISD. So parents have confidence that, and for me as a food service director, and I'm not, I have to say this, Dr. Latham, because I truly, truly believe it, your emphasis on wraparound services, to have a superintendent who views what we provide as a wraparound service, and not just putting that little 5-compartment tray across the line, but actually understanding the impact it has on learning for our children. A hungry child cannot learn. I always say an absent child learns nothing. A hungry child can't learn that. But so attendance and putting it in the context of what we're delivering as a wraparound service. That's how this whole thing began for you and I think. It's how do we support learning? And then for the politicians out there, you did a first good step in that we have funding available through June 30 of 2021, and we're taking every advantage of every waiver. So understand, our kids are getting breakfast, lunch, snack, and supper at our 45 curbside sites. We're getting on the 19th. They're getting 3 days on Monday. Come back on Thursday, and they're getting 4 more days. So politicians, keep up the good work. Understand that child nutrition or school meals, I don't even want to call it nutrition in a standpoint. It's not nutrition unless you make the investment in nutrition. And that's through fresh fruits and vegetables, milk, lean meats and vegetables. They allow us to have school meals here in HISD that we've been awarded, and people recognize us as being a leader. So keep up the good work hard for our children, because unless you support our children, you're not supporting our families. It's hard. And Harvey showed us that our supper program was one of the most beneficial things that we gave to our parents. We went from serving less than 500,000 meals at supper time to well over 2 million, because that was the support that parents needed. So politicians, when you start doing this thing, you're thinking about COVID funding and all that stuff, be aware of the babies and the impact and the things that the babies need, and so we can educate them. So that's the comment I would make, and I thank you for that opportunity.
Thank you, Ms. Betty. And Principal Trevino, to your parents, what message would you like to share with them as we prepare to bring students back on Monday, October 19th for face-to-face instruction?
I send this message out to my parents, and they know that Red has prepared for the last month and a half to make sure signs are up on the walls, stickers on the floor for the 6 feet separation, stickers in the restrooms, the hand sanitizers in the classrooms, in the restrooms, the extra support from custodial staff, the food service department providing the breakfast and the lunch. I believe we've won the Red community to embrace that they will send their children to a safe classroom with the teachers prepared with all the PPE equipment that they need to make sure that the students are getting the nutrition, the safety equipment, to make sure that instruction is taking place in a safe environment, and finish the fall semester with a success.
Thank you. So thank you again, Ms. Wiggins and Principal Trevino, for joining me for the Superintendent Spotlight. Have a great year.
Thank you. You too.
See you on Monday.
Okay, yes, on Monday. Bye-bye. In-person instruction begins on Monday, October 19th. But how will that look? Many of our parents have reached out to their campuses in our district asking about safety measures on our buses and at school. We have invited Mr. Patrick Reed, one of our district's bus drivers, and plant operator Ms. Janice Gordon to answer some of these questions. Welcome, Mr. Reed and Ms. Gordon, to the Superintendent Spotlight.
Thank you. Thank you.
I want to thank you all for your support of ensuring that we are able and ready to receive our students back on Monday, October 19th. Over the past 6 to 7 months, you all have been heavily involved in ensuring that we all remain safe as it relates to COVID-19. Mr. Reed, you all have been actively delivering food out to apartment complexes, been out at NRG supporting delivery of meals to our families. Ms. Gordon, you have been the one-stop person as it relates to cleanliness and safety out at our various facilities. So let's talk about Mr. Reed. Monday morning, probably at 5:30 a.m., you're going to pick up that first set of babies that we haven't seen since March. Tell me what they will encounter when they enter into your bus.
We've pretty much did an overhaul with the new standards of safety. So, as always, our goal has always been to provide students with safe and reliable transportation to and from school. That is still our mission, but we've enhanced our protocols to make sure we can safely get the kids to and from. We've enhanced the cleaning procedures on the bus. We now are dropping 4 to 6 windows down whenever possible for air circulation, so it's not congested. Everyone has to wear face masks at all times. We have new loading and unloading procedures. And all the students have to maintain physical distancing, of course. So it's gonna be interesting.
Okay, so no fist bump, because normally I remember riding the bus and I used to love my bus driver. And when I would get on this bus in the morning, I was so excited. Number one, I love school, and you love your bus driver because that's the person who really is the first person you see in the morning. So there won't be any fist bumping this year, I'm assuming.
No, because we're normally the first and the last person. So there's not gonna be none of that. We're gonna have to come up with a new routine.
All right. And Ms. Gordon, let's talk about our campuses. I've received a number of emails from families. Will the buildings be safe? Will they be ready? Not only for students, but our teachers came back this week, and so last week I was answering a lot of emails about safety in our buildings. Can you talk about the protocols that we've put in place as a district to ensure our buildings are safe?
Yes, I certainly can. First of all, thank you for having me, Dr. Lathan. We have done a tremendous overhaul as with the buses. As far as the protocol for physical distancing, we have the dispensers, we have the hand sanitizer dispensers placed at every entrance where we're going to receive our kids and our staff. We have hand sanitizer dispensers in classrooms. We have the tape for the social distancing. We have so many things that's going to be put in place for the beginning of school. We're going to have the people outside. We're going to have tables to where the staff is going to be able to take temperatures, do the safety protocol there. We have only a few areas where the staff and students will be able to come in, because we have a different area for the bus drop off and for parent drop off. So all of those things are being put in place, and as we all know, as CDC change, we change along with them. So everything has been very hectic, but everything is looking very good, very good.
Wonderful. And so let's talk about one of the big questions also. I've received questions around the cleanliness of our bathrooms. When students go to the bathroom, and how are we cleaning, and how often are we cleaning our facilities throughout the day? Can you talk about that?
Yes, I can. Well, we have it's being put in place that we will receive extra personnel to do that only. It's going to be the sanitizing. They're going to sanitize consistently throughout the day. Whenever we have schedules for the kids to go back and forth to the restrooms, but those restrooms, door handles, flush valves, everything in the restrooms will be wiped down consistently all day long. So we have personnel for that and that only.
Thank you. And then Mr. Reed, in between routes, and I say, there's your elementary drop-off, and then between elementary drop-off and secondary drop-off, what will occur as it relates to cleaning of our buses?
When every driver is sanitizing their bus after every dropout. This consists of wiping down and sterilizing every seat, all the handrails, as well as seat belts. Once a week, the buses will be deep cleaned and disinfected, which we was doing that already, but the saying goes, our buses are stocked with cleaning and disinfecting supplies, including personal protective equipment, disinfectant, towels, and first aid supplies. We've basically been working around the clock installing hand sanitizer dispensers. Yeah, it's been a rush. It's been a rush. We ready. We ready though. We ready.
I like hearing that because I want our parents and our staff members to know that we are ready. And I thank you all again for your service to HISD. And so I always provide everyone an opportunity to share some closing words. And so I'd like for you to share some closing words with our parents to ensure them that their children will be safe when they return face-to-face on Monday, October the 19th. And so we'll start with Ms. Gordon, and then we'll let Mr. Reed close us out.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Lathan. What I want to let the parents know that their concerns are our concerns, because a lot of us, or maybe all of us, have someone, not even a child or a family member, that is an HISD student or staff member. So the same way they came to that building is the same way we want them to go home safely. And so we are working diligently back and forth, time and time again, to make sure that everyone is as safe as possible and as possible as we can do. So everybody, all hands are on deck, and everybody's working very hard. And we just want your kids to be safe, and we want you to have that kind of security in your head that we are taking care of your kids.
Thank you, Ms. Gordon. Mr. Reed?
Well, on the transportation end, we just want to let the parents know that we're confident that we can get their nieces, nephews, children to and from home safely. Make sure that our staff and all our drivers take every precaution to ensure that they're our precious cargo. I treat every student that get on my bus like they're mine, because at that time, they are mine. They belong to me at that moment. So I'm going to make sure that we follow all the guidelines and there's no slips.
Wonderful. Thank you all again for joining me. I hope you have a great first day of school. I know we're saying this again. We had a first day on September 8th. We have another first day of school on Monday, October 19th. And so I want to thank you again. I hope you have a great day. But thank you for joining me for the Superintendent Spotlight.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me.
All right. Enjoy your day.
Thank you.
Bye.
The Houston Independent School District is ready for face-to-face instruction on October 19th. We will continue to monitor the guidance from local, state, and federal health officials. Adjustments to our safety protocols will be made depending on changing conditions of the COVID-19 pandemic. We will continue to provide up-to-date information to all of our students and parents and deliver the safest instruction environment to our students. Thank you for watching the Superintendent Spotlight, and remember, our priority is to reconnect safely and to return strong.